What's up, everybody? So today I am driving in one of my favorite cars. This is a 2014 Nissan 370Z. I've always been a fan of the Nissan Z series vehicles. The 350 was super cool looking, and then when the 370 came out to replace it, I was blown away with the way it looked. A little bit shorter, a little bit wider, sharper exterior lines, and then the interior, they did so much work to it, making this super premium looking. And this one's finished off in a Magma Red Metallic paint job, which looks fantastic. Huge thank you to Champion Car Company for providing this vehicle for today's video. Be sure to check out their website in the description below. I'll also post the link to this exact car so you can check it out. Don't forget to give this video the thumbs up, click on that subscribe button down below, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. So underneath the hood in the Z is a 3.7 liter 6-cylinder engine producing 332 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. And this particular model is paired to a 7-speed automatic transmission with steering column mounted paddle shifters, and they look pretty identical to the ones you'll find in a GTR. And with a curb weight of around 3,300 pounds depending on the trim level and transmission, you're going to expect to see a 0 to 60 time in under 5 seconds. And that power translated to the ground. It's got some get up and go for sure. The power comes in very low and just keeps accelerating as you go up through the rev counter, and through each gear the power just keeps going. And with this automatic transmission, it does have rev matching downshifts. So you can hear that one. The overall power delivery I'm finding in this car is super smooth. It is naturally aspirated, and it's a pretty powerful V6 engine. The throttle response, you just give it a little bit of gas and the car starts to take off. There's not really any lag. I'd say at least above 3,000 RPM. It's just pure power, and like I said, it just keeps climbing. As for handling, this thing is super nimble. This one does have the base wheels, the 18-inch wheels, and I think it has summer tires on it. And when you take turns, it is so flat in the turn. The steering wheel is extremely direct, and it's somewhat heavy, so there's no lightness about it. Just turning the steering wheel a little bit, the car is already moving. And approaching a pretty sharp turn, the car is so planted. And then it's got plenty of power getting out of those turns. And as for brakes go, this does not have the Brembos, but when you slam on the brakes, the car does a fantastic job stopping, so I can imagine how awesome the Brembos would be. But even with the standard brakes and wheels on this car, impressive performance specs, no doubt. As far as looks go for the 370, I think this is one of the best looking cars, especially in this price range. The front end is insane looking with these sharp looking headlights, very bold looking. And for the side profile, I think it is amazing. The rear arches over the rear wheels are super wide looking and huge, and it just has a super cool looking profile. And then the rear end finishing up, the taillights look a lot like the headlights. They have some cool shapes to them, and the rear end is super sleek looking. Got a nice little body color diffuser, and then the dual exhaust system. And as far as the exhaust sound goes, I think Nissans have a very distinct note. All the Infinitis and the Z series cars have a really cool sounding note, and especially with an upgraded exhaust, this would sound like a complete monster. But even in the stock form, it sounds fantastic. on to the interior of the car. This is where they did tons of work comparing it to the 350. The seats are one of my favorite. You have leather on the sides and then a black micro suede in the center. You also get white stitching along the bolsters. They are power front and back, power recline. And then along the door panel, the whole insert is the same micro suede with some white stitching. This one does not have navigation, but instead it has a nice little glove compartment up here, covered in leather with some white stitching as well. You have push start, back to the aluminum paddle shifters, and then black headliner. So overall, I think it's fantastic looking interior. The steering wheel isn't quite round. It's got little notches in the bottom part, and then really good bolsters to put your thumbs, and overall I think it's a great steering wheel to hold. The paddles are pretty large, so you can easily grab them no matter where your hands are, where you're in a turn. And then for the gauges, you have a center mounted tack with your gear, and when you're in manual mode, your gear shows up. When you're in drive, it just says D. You have your speedometer on the right side, and then your fuel level with your engine temperature actually in a digital format. And then up on the top of the dash, you have your engine temperature, your battery voltage, and then your clock. So overall, super cool looking interior. I think it's very stylish and extremely sporty looking. And then the whole view out the front is really awesome. You got some arches in the hood that you can see, and the windows have a pretty aggressive shape, so it looks really cool looking out the front end. The rearward visibility isn't the best comparing it to a G37 or a Genesis Coupe, but driving it around a little bit, I can easily see over my right shoulder, and using the mirror on the left side, it's not too bad looking on the left side. So let's get back to the performance aspects of the vehicle. This does have an automatic transmission in a rear-wheel drive sports car, but I do have to say this is one of the best automatics I've driven. With those rev matching downshifts, it's super quick for the downshifts, very smooth. The upshifts are equally as smooth and quick. And when you're taking a turn, it's really easy to select your gear using the paddle shifters, and on the track, I'm sure this is a very responsive vehicle. As far as comfort goes for this car, I think it's extremely comfortable. It tracks super straight, very easy to drive. You have a nice armrest for your left arm, same with your right arm. Steering wheel is easy to hold, and the seats have plenty of support, easy to maneuver. The micro suede in the center provides you a lot of grip when you're taking a hard turn, and then it's very soft feeling, so it's definitely a comfortable car, and I can see no issue using this as your daily driver. And to be quite honest, after the day driving in the 370, the wheels are turning a little bit in my head, perhaps maybe in the future trading the Genesis Coupe in for a 370 like this one. Definitely fallen in love with the car, super powerful, great handling. I'm really impressed with how flat it is in the turns and just the amount of power this car has. It sounds fantastic, and the interior is one of my favorite for a car that you can pick up for under 30 grand. So finishing up my test drive in the 370Z, I think I'm starting to like this a little bit too much. I might have to make a decision in a few months, perhaps picking one of these cars up. The handling is fantastic. It's so flat in the turns, extremely responsive. You can feel so much to the steering wheel of what the car's doing, and it seems to be extremely direct with whatever you tell the car to do. And then the power combined with this transmission. This thing takes off. It's just pure engine. There's no turbo lag or anything like that. It's just that naturally aspirated engine. And I've always heard people saying there's no replacement for displacement. Well, as a turbo owner, I hear what they're saying. There's something about these naturally aspirated cars. I just can't get over how flat it is in the turn. So overall, the Nissan 370Z I think is a great car to pick up. Excellent sports car, has fantastic interior and exterior looks. The interior materials are very high quality, nice plastics, nice looking leather with stitching, and then the micro suede is a really cool touch. The performance is hard to argue with. Very powerful V6 engine with rear wheel drive. Awesome transmission choices between the manual or the automatic. Both are fantastic gearboxes. So depending on what you need in your car, you have a great transmission, whether it's going to be more daily driving, or if you don't mind daily driving the stick shift, then you have two great choices. And overall, I think it's a fantastic car. So huge thank you once again to Champion Car Company for providing this car for today's video. Be sure to check out the link to their website and this car in the description below. Don't forget to give this video the thumbs up, click that subscribe button down below, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. And we'll see you all next video.